Mckinsey Kıdemli Ortağı Sven Blumberg bizlerle birlikte olacaklar. Alkışlarla. I would like to invite Mr. Sven Blumberg. Please welcome. Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for having me. My name is Sven Blumberg. I'm a senior partner with Mckinsey. I lead our technology, digital and analytics practice here in the region and here in Turkey. And first of all, I apologize. My Turkish is still not good enough after 10 years so that I can do this presentation in Turkish. So what I wanted to talk to you about is the theme of co-owning the technology and the business transformation in this digital age. And I picked this theme basically, super, it's working. Because today, business is IT, and IT is business. Yeah, so like it's very clear on the unicorn side. Yeah, so like, and I picked a couple of examples here. But it's also very clear when you look now into the incumbent sides. Yeah, so like when you look into automotive OEMs, how they're using IoT, how they're using cloud, how they're using platforms. When you look into, for example, BioNTech, yeah, so the success story of Germany and Turkey, as I always say. Yeah, so bringing with Project Lightspeed, yeah, so the vaccine in record time, yeah, to the market, yeah, so which was all enabled by analytics and other things, and of course financial services. And just to give you a bit of an idea of what's the size of the prize we are talking here about, I just picked a very small piece, the cloud migration that is coming up, yes, and what's the economic impact until 2030 for the top 2,000 companies. And we have looked deeply into this. We believe it's a price of like 3 trillion EBITDA that this can have. But the important piece here is when you look at the overall chart here, the interesting thing is 85% of that comes from the business. Only 15%, a minor part, yeah, so it's about IT enablement, it's about cost optimization, it's about resilience improvements, etc. So that's why co-owning the business and IT transformation is so important. Yeah? So only the major part of, even a small part of the overall digital transformation of companies, the cloud transformation. Yeah? So when you look at that, it's driven not only by IT. So what do you do nowadays? Yeah, so when you want to understand a bit more about this, and like you try to give a speech about that. Yeah, so what do? You ask ChatGPT. So I asked ChatGPT. You're like, can you tell me a bit more about like what does it mean? Yeah, so what is surprising about co-owning the business and IT transformation? So ChatGPT came back with like something interesting. Yeah, so one surprising fact is that co-owning the business and IT transformation. Yeah, so that means like when business and IT leaders really co-own, yes, and co-drive the digital transformation, that it has a major impact on success. Most notably, the success rate, according to an HBR article, goes up by 71% versus like 29% when it's just like driven by the IT leader. So what's interesting then, yeah, so tell me a bit more about the study. I was like very interested. Yeah, so then the typical thing happens with ChatGPT. Yeah, so actually that thing doesn't exist. Yeah, so yes, there was an HBR article, yeah, so that was talking about something like that. Yeah, so but like when you look into this digital transformation, it's not about technology. It wasn't talking about the 70%. It was talking about 70% of digital transformations are failing. Yeah, so like, okay, so ChatGPT is not the solution here. Yeah, so therefore, like, let's look a little bit into other things. Yeah, so to understand what is needed to make this really a big success. And I want to talk to you about a multi-year program that we are running with the University of Oxford. Yes, we have analyzed something like 4,300 digital projects worldwide. You see here the sector mix, the location mix, etc., and the different projects that are behind this. Yeah, so the important thing is, why did we look into this together with the University of Oxford? The University of Oxford is well known to analyze infrastructure projects. So real world infrastructure, bridges, tunnels, etc. Yeah, so they have like a proprietary data set. Yeah, so to analyze what are the success factors behind it. And we thought, like we are building for a couple of thousand years now bridges and like roads. Yeah, so like there's something we can learn from there. Yeah, so because IT is a very young industry. Yeah, so we are like 70 years old if you're like nice to us. Yeah, so therefore like let's learn something from that. So we looked into this. And now, the first thing we wanted to discuss and understand is, so like these, like, this industry that is like a couple of thousand years old. Yeah, the Romans built roads. Yeah, so like, are these projects less risky than IT? What do you think? Show off by hands. Who thinks engineering projects are less risky than ICT digital projects? Okay, no one? Okay, one person, a brave person, thank you for that. So it's wrong. So when you look into this, and let me try to explain what you see here. So you have on this x-axis, you have the cost overrun. 0 means I hit the budget, 100% means I double the budget. And you have on the other axis, how many projects fall in that category. The dark blue line is IT projects. The not so dark blue line is the infrastructure projects. Yeah, and the unfortunate truth is that IT projects are not that bad. On average, 27%, yeah, so close to engineering projects. Yeah, so like even though we are a very young industry, we are performing as good as normal projects, yeah, so that we are doing for 2,000 years. The thing that is a bit strange here is over here. So what is that? That means we have a huge set of outliers. So we call that black swans. Yeah, so some of you might have heard about Nassim Taleb, this like black swans. Yeah, so massive events that are hard to predict. Yeah, so the big difference here is this white thing here. That would be the normal distribution. That is what you would expect when we are normal distributed in terms of performance. We have a massive over-incidence of outliers. That's special about IT. That's why we are so often, unfortunately, in the newspaper. Yeah, so because there's so many projects that are going massively wrong. So let's look into this into more numbers. Yeah, so like you see the black swans, these like massive events, they go like 200% plus. Yeah, so 300% of what we thought it is. They like, they are massively overrunning also on schedule, plus 68%. Yeah, so while like, the average you see here on that side. So the problem is not so much about like, the average, the problem is about the outliers. Yeah, so we have too many projects that go wrong. Second thing. We thought now, yeah, so like what is it that is driving this? Yeah, so like first hypothesis that came up, and again, I've tried the audience. Who thinks bigger projects are worse than smaller projects? Anybody brave? Okay, this time 5 people are brave, it's also wrong. Yeah, so the problem is not the big projects. That was hugely surprising. It's these like small projects here. Yeah, so like if you want to change something by tomorrow, don't do small projects anymore. Yeah, so small projects are a really bad idea. When you look a bit deeper into this, the problem with small projects is, yeah, they are like under the hood. They don't have a proper governance. Yeah, so like, and therefore, like, they are tending too much, yeah, to massively overrun. So next try. Maybe it's the longer projects. Who thinks longer projects are worse than shorter projects? Couple of more brave things, yeah. So this time we break it. Yes, it is true. The problem is longer projects. Yeah, so again, if you go back tomorrow, yeah, so and you want to change something, cut every project below 2 years. 2 years is the magic number. Yeah, so and just to be precise, I'm not saying don't do long transformations in general. Yeah, so having a North Star, etc., is super important. What I'm saying is have frequent deliveries, have frequent tests with the market. Yeah, so like make sure that you have an organization that is focused on delivering something. Yeah, so that is a real major driver of success here. So we then thought maybe there's something else we can do. And we were trying to find something, yeah, so that is a major driver. Yeah, so the first thing that then came up again when we talked with business leaders and IT leaders was maybe it's the business case, benefits management. Who thinks it's benefits management? Anybody brave? Now you don't know if it's yes or no. Yeah, we had both. Okay, one person, I count you. You were right. Yeah, so when you look at benefits management, yeah, so and this chart is amazing in 2 dimensions. Yeah, so like number 1, benefits management is the best thing to drive down the risk of becoming a black swan and to drive down overall cost overruns. Yeah, so you're not running over when you manage your benefits. Now comes the surprising fact. 4,300 projects. I took out all the projects that can't have a benefit management. Yeah, regulatory projects. Yeah, so yeah, that doesn't have a business case. So all the projects, also that for whatever reason the organization doesn't track a business case, we took out. Now we are in the remaining projects. 85% of them don't measure benefits. So what does that mean? You have a business case. The next day, after it's approved, yeah, it drops into the paper bin. Yeah, so everybody forgets about that. So again, tomorrow morning you want to change something, take that out of the paper bin, hold your teams responsible, ask them where are we still delivering what we promised? Yeah, so show me on paper, show me what are the drivers. Yeah, so because this is like the best chance you have at the moment, yeah, to prevent a black swan, yeah, so prevent going 200% over budget, yeah, so and really also manage the cost overruns. Last thing, yeah, so when you look at the root causes, yeah, so like I wanted to give you also like a broader perspective. Yeah, so we did a very complicated, when you work with universities, you can do really complicated things, correlation analysis. So what we tried to do is, we took the cut of projects that went over budgets that had a certain size. Yeah, so 10 million. Because like these are like transformations, yeah, so when we do a digital transformations, these are typically sizable. So they run typically 90% over, and we try to break down, yeah, so what are the drivers behind that? Yeah, so and you see them behind me, there are 4 major factors. It's about like, you know, the ownership of the business. Yeah, so it's about like, you know, content issues, also a big topic with the business folks, shifting requirements, driving for something that is over complex. Yeah, so that's really something you can start steering. Then the third thing is around skill issues. The team matters really. Yeah, so like next time when somebody tells you, no, I can't give you my best guy, tell him 10% on top of the budget, because I know, yeah, so it's a major driver. Yeah, so like not having the best team means on average 10% additional budget. And then lastly, it's about execution. We were surprised how many projects still don't have a proper project plan, yeah, so project tracking, etc. Yeah, so and an unrealistic schedule. Therefore, like it's again, yeah, something that you can do there. So with that, again, business IT is business. Don't trust ChatGPT. Yeah, so it's not giving you the answer, unfortunately, yet. Maybe it will. Yeah, so it's not the long, it's not the big ones. It's the long projects that you should avoid. Yeah, so it's benefits management, bring back the business cases. Yeah, so and it's the 4 dimensions that I was showing you. Yeah, so that will make you successful in this like important time that is ahead of us. Yeah, so and with that, yeah, so Tisha Claire. Yeah, so and thanks for listening.